So Natalie, I guess with The Forest, it's your first movie where you're front and centre on the poster, but also you're playing two people. So how kind of challenging was that in terms of the roles you've done before taking on this movie?
So twofold, that question. To play identical twins was great fun, although it was a bit of a mind-boggling experience being in a scene with yourself. That's one I hadn't done before. But, you know, a whole new skill set to assume very quickly. And then, yeah, I mean, I loved being, the great thing about being number 1 and 2 on the call sheet is that you get to bond with your crew. You know, you're there every single day, every single scene. So you have that family relationship, that intense camaraderie that maybe when you're an ensemble cast and you're just coming in and out on different days, you don't feel that buzz of the actual beast being created so much. So I got a kick out of that.
Obviously, lots of horror movies come out now. Is it fair to say this kind of leans more towards maybe a Hitchcock, Polanski style thriller than a Paranormal Activity type thing that's just kind of shocking people?
Yeah, it's definitely a psychological horror. It has these suspense thriller elements that are not so much the gore fest. And for me personally, that's the kind of horror movie I prefer as an audience member. So I was attracted to it because I thought the interesting psychology of going to a place where you have your own inner fears reflected back at you was intriguing. And also, the central relationship was two sisters, and I found that refreshing, that a sibling relationship. I mean, we all have someone that we would travel halfway around the world for if we thought they were in trouble. So this is how I got to the script, was like, this feels plausible, that I would go to Japan if my sister was in trouble. And this feels terrifying, the idea that everything I'm trying to repress and not talk to anyone about is like put in front of me.
I know, looking ahead for you, I think you've written a movie, right, with your partner. Is that kind of something, looking ahead, you're thinking maybe go behind the camera entirely, or do you think you'll always still be acting?
I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, I'm an actor first and foremost. I'd like to die doing this job. So it is a job for life, being an actor, if one so chooses. So I like the idea of going way into my doterage doing this. But you know, ask me when we've shot in darkness. Let's see how that experience fares for me. It was a very steep learning curve and interesting experience that basically added to my skill set in knowing how to tell a story. So, and the mechanics of filmmaking, which I'm still being, you know, a part of in the process of, as we're revving up to get going with it. So basically ask me that question again in a year's time.
Very finally as well, I want to ask you about sort of the experience of making big franchise movies, because you're in Game of Thrones, you're in Hunger Games as well. I've noticed as well there's kind of a lot of fan art from Marvel fans of you as Captain Marvel. So I'm thinking, is that a thing where you'd like to do that again, or having, you know, ticked off Game of Thrones and the Hunger Games, is that kind of, I'd rather do kind of, you know, the calmer type of films and TV?
I mean, I've been very lucky in my career so far that I've managed to spread myself over all different mediums of TV, film and stage, and that I've managed to cover different budgeted and you know, different genres. And I can only ever hope that I continue to keep that diversity in my career. It's a gift and a privilege to have achieved that so far, and that's what I look to do. My experience of franchise, because of the two that you mentioned, has only been the most positive that one could possibly hope. So I would never rule out being part of franchise ever again, you know, in the future. But you're quite right, equally, for 2016, I'm very much concentrating on, you know, smaller acting, heavyweight, intense roles, and In Darkness and Official Secrets starting off my year. So I'm just trying to keep myself on my toes, basically, is what I'm saying.